This is Scott Becker with the Becker Business Podcast and the Becker Private Equity Podcast. I'm thrilled today to be joined by one of the best leaders I get to visit with. We're joined today by Holly Buckley, and Holly is the chair of the McGuireWoods Healthcare Department, which is one of the largest healthcare departments of its sort in the country. She works at the intersection of healthcare and private equity, and also does a lot of work for large, not-for-profit health systems. We're going to talk to Holly today really about three discrete issues. Coming up is the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference, which centers around a lot of the issues that Holly deals with. Second, we're going to talk about goal setting for next year. And finally, third, I'm going to ask Holly to give a note on, I think, what's the 23rd annual McGuireWoods Healthcare Private Equity Conference that's coming up April 29th and April 30th in Chicago. Holly, let me ask you to start with, tell us a little bit about the JP Morgan experience at their healthcare conference and why it's so important to all kinds of people across the healthcare finance spectrum and world.
Thank you, Scott. And as always, thank you for the conversation. So for JP Morgan is really the kickoff of deal making every year. And it is both a painful and wonderful experience. Painful because it is San Francisco in January. It is often raining and there are a million people there. But wonderful because there are so many people there who we get the chance to reconnect with and visit with to kick off the year and discuss what folks' priorities are, what their observations are about the market, and what their goals are for the year. I will be out there with a team from McGuireWoods, including my good friend and colleague Jeff Cockrell and Trey Andrews and Kevin Madigan. Kevin is a newer partner with us who is on the life sciences side. It'll be his first time at JP Morgan with us. And then some of my debt finance partners will also be out there. We will be meeting with folks over the 12th and the 13th of January, and we'll be discussing a number of different topics, including key FDA trends, things that folks with provider platforms should really be focusing on at this point, just goals around investments and how to utilize capital to solve problems in healthcare, and then also focusing on certain upcoming hot sectors such as women's health, men's health, longevity. And then we'll also be attending a variety of the social events out there. So all in all, it is just a great kickoff to the year and a chance to visit with and get invigorated about the deal-making environment for the year.
Thank you. And take a moment, as you head to JP Morgan, are there two or three big issues that people are thinking about in the healthcare sector, or does it depend so much on all the different sectors that are represented? Because you got everything from major health systems to major healthcare companies to private equity investors in healthcare. Are there a few issues that people are that you expect to be, the conversations to revolve around the most?
That's a great question. And maybe we can just talk about this in 3 weeks. I mean, I honestly don't know, Scott, what those would be. I mean, I think that there are a variety of struggling provider sectors. There are a variety of sectors that are not struggling, that are where people want to deploy dollars. There's a lot of folks looking at how they can capitalize on some of the areas that have been struggling. There will be certain books that are getting released at JP Morgan that people will be talking about. And so I think my preference is let's put a pin in it, and in 3 weeks, let's talk about everything that we've seen and heard.
Thank you very much. No, I think that's a fair statement. And I've watched you lead the department at McGuireWoods for several years now, and you've done this incredible job of it through great and challenging economic times, through COVID, through recruiting people, through growing the group. It's really been a masterclass in leadership. When you look at setting goals for a new year, how clearly do you set goals? How do you think about goals? Are they more targets and ideas or goals? How do you think about goal setting for a new year?
Thank you, and you are too kind in your words, but I think it is really important to set goals and also recognize that your goals are living and breathing and will change throughout the year. For example, at this time last year, I didn't have a full appreciation for the impact that AI would have had during 2025. It was still a lot more conceptual at the end of 2024, and now it is very, very real. And so I think of the goal setting exercise as a window in time as we get toward the end of the year and kick off the new year, with kind of this phase being the formulation phase. And I'm happy to share some of my initial thoughts on goals. And then the beginning of the year really being the time that I communicate those goals with those around me and help get them invigorated to join me in terms of pursuing them. Because as a department chair, the goals are never just for me to go out and do. It's for us as a community and a collaborative to go out and work on. So really it's a window in time where we focus on what the next year will likely bring, with giving ourselves some flexibility to modify over time.
Thank you very, very much. And are there sort of like, you think about things, do you set goals? I agree with you 100% that goals end up getting adjusted and changed and pivoted, but you sort of start with, hey, here's some of the cores of what I'm trying to do next year. How do you think about them? Do you think about them as granularly as for each partner and each colleague, or more as a group? When you look at the department and where it's going, how do you think about that?
I think of it more as a group. I don't get down to the granular level of individuals, because I think it's really, really important that partners set their own goals. And that goes for everyone from kind of my long-term partners to the newest partners we bring in. And I don't goal set for other people, because it's critical that people have ownership over their own goals, and you're not doing that for them. So I think of these goals as personal goals and group goals, and getting us on the pathway of where we want to be in the next 3 to 5 years. And I think of some of them as more, I guess, big picture and not necessarily SMART goals, and others are more SMART goals, where we are looking to actually measure them and achieve certain metrics. And so I think of them as group, individual, and also some specific and some non-specific.
Thank you. When you look at this next year coming up, Holly, I mean, and you kicked the year off with the JP Morgan conference. We get into April with the McGuireWoods Healthcare Private Equity Conference. I think it's its 23rd year now. As you get started for a new year, what are you most excited about? What sort of gets you going and being like, I'm excited to go? And I know you've got a lot of responsibilities early in the year, but what gets your sort of juices going where this is what I'm excited about for next year?
The biggest thing for me is honestly growth for the group and recruiting. And so, yes, client-wise, work-wise, all of that, sure. But in terms of what I'm most excited about, it's really growth for the group. We have such a great, amazing platform and foundation that we've built, that you've built, that collectively we've built over the last, 40 plus years. And we really want to grow that by a good 50+% over the next 3 years with the right types of people in the right types of areas. And we've done a really nice job over the last couple of years of making some really great strategic hires on our platform that have been really, really accretive. And I want to continue that and really look to accelerate that growth next year and onto the next kind of 3 to 5 years beyond that.
Thank you. And take a second, give people a feel for the McGuireWoods Healthcare Private Equity Conference. I know it's at the Ritz-Carlton in April in Chicago. Talk a bit about who gathers there, what the thesis is, just a little bit about that meeting.
Yeah, so it's interesting, and it's appropriate to talk about this kind of along with JP Morgan, because really people do refer to our conference in a lot of ways as kind of a mini JP Morgan conference. The website for the conference actually went live today, so this is super timely. It is healthcareprivateequity.com. The conference is April 29th and 30th, as you said, at the Ritz-Carlton in Chicago. It's a 2-day event with the 28th, the day before the conference. We will have a pre-conference workshop day. People come here to to dealmake. Books are launched at our conference. It's a really key networking event. We have lenders, we have investors, we have operators all in attendance, as well as investment bankers and others who orbit around the industry. We have deep dive substantive tracks for those who are interested in them. And then we have really great networking evening events as well. And so it really is just a chance for like-minded healthcare private equity folks, generically, from all facets to get together and talk deal making and strategy and socialize and hopefully have some fun.
No, thank you very, very much. I've been attending for a long time. Love the chance to interact with people and see different professionals and investors and leaders from companies and in the whole ecosystem of healthcare private equity. I know that between you and several other leaders, Amber, Jeff, and others, it has turned into a premier event. Again, Holly Buckley, what a pleasure to visit with you on the Becker Business and the Becker Private Equity Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Scott.